Hey, people. It's now been a little over a week since I've been. Hey, people. It's now been a little over a week since I've been living out my car. And, of course, there's a lot of complications that come with this, as far as having to go everywhere to use the restroom. Not really being able to eat much and stuff like that, because you don't really got access to, kitchen supplies, things of that nature, albeit microwaves, ovens, anything to cook, stuff like that. Showering, of course. Trying to get to Planet Fitness all the time. The shower is very difficult, not to mention my car battery died, so now I'm not even mobile anymore. So there's a lot of complications that come with this, but one that I really noticed that I personally struggle with a lot is the actual sheer loneliness of it all. Like, I don't really got friends like that, and unfortunately about 95% of my bloodline is ass for the most part, so it's hard, like, coping with, like, pretty much no one checking up on you.
Yeah, not having nobody to talk to, nobody making sure you're all right, nobody offering a helping hand. I could understand that. He don't got a companion. I could understand that. You already going through it. You at least want somebody to be there for you. A little bit, just a little bit. Somebody to talk to here and there, vent to, something as simple as that. I could understand how frustrating that could be. Me, when I see homeless people, a lot of times I talk to them. Have a conversation with them. I'm not scared to shake their hand or nothing like that. Help them out a little bit if I can. Things like that. As long as they're not on drugs, I'm not going to contribute to killing you, But if you're really trying to get yourself together, then I got no problem helping you out. It's always been like that. I've always been that way.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to see how you doing, if you're okay. Hell, if you're alive. Stuff like that. Not really having anyone to talk to or go see or just, any of that. Just kind of having to full on deal with this by myself. That has actually been personally for me. I know everybody is different, but for me personally, that's been like my largest struggle, man. It's just feeling just alone, or whatever. Yeah, it could be also the fact, I was in a 6-year relationship, and the person that I was with hasn't cared at all about my situation ever since, she left and everything, and has not once checked up on me, helped me, nothing. And I think that's taken a great effect on me mentally in dealing with this as well, and feeling so alone and stuff like that, because for 6 years I wasn't. But yeah, just venting, but surviving. I'm surviving. It's just hard, but out of that, still here, still gonna make it eventually, so wish me luck.
One thing I noticed, he said he was in a 6-year relationship. Coming out of a long relationship like that, it'll feel lonely. Not being with that person that you were with all of this time. I'm wondering if she was the breadwinner and got tired of him, or they kept getting into it. I don't know. I'm wondering if that was the case and she put him out. That's why he's homeless now, living in his car. Or was he the breadwinner and he fell on hard times and she left? I'm wondering which one is it. He didn't really share that information with us, but that's just something that I'm thinking. I really would like to know that.
Spend the day with me living in my car. This morning, I'm gonna go ahead and cook my meals for the day because it is gonna get super hot this afternoon. Okay, I kind of burnt the sweet potatoes a little bit. I'm making a steak. I've never cooked sweet potatoes in a skillet, let alone on a camp stove. And have I ever cooked steak? No.
I could tell by the little amount of seasoning she had on there. That steak looked like it's gonna be nasty. I'm just saying.
But I wanted it. Oh yeah. Okay, I just spent the last 2 hours researching and applying to certain contract work positions. I did run into town and fill up on ice and water, but forgot to film it, and I grabbed a coffee and got to work. I was just going to get dinner out of my cooler, and then a car pulls in. Mind you, it's dark. A car pulls in, starts acting like they're gonna drive up to my campsite. I turn my lights on because I'm like, maybe they don't see me. They stop, turn their lights off, and now they're blasting music. And I'm pretty sure they've blocked me in. And they're just blasting music at the bottom of my campsite where I can't get out.
This is what nights look like for me right now. I don't usually talk about this part of my life, not because I'm ashamed, but because sharing it feels vulnerable. Living this way has taught me a lot about myself. I've learned that I don't actually need as much as I thought I did. I've learned how to be a minimalist, not just
Being a minimalist, only keeping the things that you actually need, not the things you want. It's a humbling thing because you basically living out of a backpack. That's just like somebody that's a backpacker. They learn, hey, I don't need all of these items, all of these possessions. I don't need them. What I need is food, shelter, a few clothing items, a few other things, but not many things. You don't need many things to truly survive. It's a difference between, just having all these things just because you like them. But most of the times we get these items and we really don't use them. Or after we get them, we don't really care for them anymore. You get a small boost of dopamine when you get it, like that excitement when you get it because you always wanted it. But then once you get it, you be like, man, why did I even get this in the first place?
with my things, but with my expectations. With the noise, with the pressure to have everything figured out. There's something grounding about ending your day like this. Letting go of whatever didn't go how you planned. Letting the day be over without trying to carry it into tomorrow. When I finally settle in for the night, when it's dark and quiet, that's usually when I talk to God the most. I read my devotional. I remind myself who I am outside of my circumstances. This isn't the life I imagine for myself, but it's the season I'm in. And I'm learning that those are two different things. Some nights feel heavy, some nights feel peaceful, but every night I'm learning to trust myself more. And for right now, I'm still becoming who I'm meant to be.
There we go. Everything happens for a reason, but also you enter that season for a reason. You might not understand it, but the Most High won't put you anywhere that you should not be. Where you are right now is exactly where you are supposed to be in life. Nothing goes to our planning. There's this saying, when you make plans, the Most High laughs. Because it's not our plans. He's the one that decides our journey for us. When we will be, where we will be, You might get over that stumbling block later than you planned for. But essentially, you got to go through something. You're going to go through a test of faith before you prosper. We all do. Right when you're about to give up, that's when you have your breakthrough, right? Or right when you get to your lowest point. Most times, if you hear success stories, it's right after they got to their lowest point. But they didn't give up. They kept going. They kept fighting. They kept trying. Then they got over that hurdle. And their life changed forever. Right after that. If you've been through it, you know.
Since I've been living in my car, it's been one of the most degrading, humiliating, and embarrassing things I've ever had to do. Because for those that know me, know that I've always handled my business. I've always taken care of my daughter and busted my butt to make sure I would never, ever, ever be in this position. But the reason why I say it's disgusting is because, number one, I have a bathroom trash can in the backseat with tissue and wipes, stuff like that I have to pee in. You know how disgusting I feel? Do you know how disgusting I feel having to sneak, look to this right, look this way, make sure can't nobody see me? And I can only do it at nighttime. I don't do it in the daytime because you can see in my car. So in the daytime, I have to go to gas stations. Anyways, also, climbing over this seat, diabolical. Also, it's cold as hell right now. And I can't just have my car running because gas. Also, I also need an oil change right now because I have had to have my car running like I have. So, also, for me, my pride, my ego, that don't exist. I have to ask, not ask, but it's people offering me showers and stuff, not because I, need one, but it's just like they offer it. Like, you can always come take a shower here. Do you know how this is also humbling? Also humbling. My wife don't understand what she did while she was trying to just focus on destroying me and lying and covering up her lies. She don't know what she did, but I'm gonna tell y'all what she did.
Yeah, when people do a kind gesture like offer up their couch or their shower, sometimes that person might feel uncomfortable asking for help or actually taking the assistance or taking you up on that offer because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to look like they need help or like they're the help, like they're needy, So they might turn it down and be like, I'd rather struggle on my own before I struggle in front of everyone else. Right? Because people don't want to be talked about. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be looked at a certain way or whatever, And I understand that completely. That could be hard. You really can't have no pride. You can't have no ego. A lot of times they be like, I'm going to figure it out. And then they might only hit you when they realize they really can't figure it out. And they better take you up on that offer. That literally happened last night. And I ain't going to go into too much detail. But they don't want to make you feel uncomfortable in your own home. And at the same time, they're already uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? That's why you want to make them feel as comfortable as you can. Like, no, it's no big deal. Anytime. No, you're not in the way of us. You good. Now check this out. Everybody else was a little younger. Not super young, but they were younger than this next man. This next man is 40 years old, living in his car. Somebody being 40, you deal with backaches and your legs hurt. Just different things as you age. Your body starts to change, and these changes make it even more uncomfortable. You need a comfortable bed, a nice pillow. When you're young, you can sleep on the floor. You can sleep on the air mattress. As you get older, your body aches more. You're in more pain. You need a more comforting environment to stay in. But for him, he's still sleeping in his car at 40. I'm just thinking about how that probably feels on his body and how draining that could be, not being able to get a good night's rest and still got to get up the next day and figure things out. Let's check this brother out. Let's hear his story out.
Okay, boom. I've been living in my car since May 13th, about 2 months and some change. Let's talk about it. So I bought this car knowing that I was probably going to have to make a tough decision. I do freelance work and video, and a lot of the money will come in late, as any freelance knows. And sure enough, it came in late, and I'm just hated being late on my rent and having to tell my roommate, who was also a friend of mine, not close friend, but a friend of mine, that I was going to be late and trying to figure it out. So I got this car for a gig because I needed it for the gig, and I knew that I was possibly going to be living in it. So I have a 2013 Chevy Volt. It's basically an EV first, and then it's a hybrid, so I get like 30 miles, which is extremely useful because when I turn my car on, I don't have the actual car on. It's just the battery on. So it's perfect, but I still have gas if I want to use gas and go further, things like that. So where I stay most of the time, I was working for Amazon, and honestly, the parking lots, because they have shifts almost around the clock, you pretty much can stay here if you can find like a pretty secure little chill spot. So that's where I've been, just in between two vans in a parking spot, either between there or there's a beach location that I'll go into, and they have the EV charger there too. The thing about the Amazon, they actually have free chargers here. I don't know if it was their plan or whatever the case is, but I'm gonna take advantage while I can. So like right now, I'm sitting at the charger. I've got my sunshade on. I'm sitting at a charger. Amazon, the people are all gone. I have a sunshade, and I'm charging my car for free, and I'm on Instacart, so that way if a ride comes in, I can take the ride, and I'm not paying for it. I'm not paying for gas, things like that. So I ended up investing in a butane burner, so I have a burner so that I can cook. Man, obviously it's dirty right now. I'll be cleaning it sometimes. It's dirty right now, but yeah, I got a butane burner that I use mostly every day.
I ain't gonna lie, he grabbing that camera kind of aggressive. It's almost scaring me. But look, I'm not laughing at his struggle. I'm just saying the way he grabbing that camera is getting me every time he do it. At least he got a burner he can cook in the car. He figuring out different ways, right? One thing about our people, we are real improvisers. We learn how to improvise across the board. He learning all type of little ways to maneuver and still be good out here. That's one thing I love. And I love how people keep it positive no matter what they're going through. We've been through the most. I'm going to say we know how to survive any situation because everything we've been through throughout history, you know, that's just the honest truth. We've all been at the bottom before. If you're at the bottom, the only place you can go is up.
You know, breakfast. I also have a have a little cooler. So not this cooler. This cooler ain't got no ice. But I have this cooler, which is a 12-volt cooler. It ain't much in it right now. It's time to do some shopping. But yeah, so I'll throw some eggs in that, you know, maybe some potatoes, Trader Joe's, and then I'm making it on the skillet, and it's extremely helpful because I was spending a lot of money going to, well, not just the money, but also the health, but going to In-N-Out, going to Taco Bell, having it be convenient.
In-N-Out. Drop a comment below if you ever been to In-N-Out. I went there one time a couple months ago. Terrible burgers. Terrible, horrible burgers. I don't know how they're in business. Me personally, I don't like it. That burger, all you tasted was onions on there, burned bread. You couldn't even taste the hamburger. It tastes like onions and burned bread and nasty spread.
So yeah, this has helped out tremendously. I can have cold drinks, oat milk, whatever, but I can also have something hot as well. Also have a tea kettle for, noodles, oatmeal, shit like that, whatever. Yeah, have a couple window covers. Anyway, I ain't gonna keep going on, but yeah, this is where we're at. There's a lot of people, specifically down by the beach. But even I'm across the street from Lowe's, as an example. There's also a Sam's Club near me. If you go to them parking lots after the stores close, you're going to see some blacked out cars back in the back of the parking lot. And more than likely, 75 to 80% of the time, that's someone living in their car. I was sitting there and I had someone pull up in their vehicle, what looks like a work vehicle. They got out of that car and walked over to the dirty Lexus SUV and did not move. Like, that's his home and this is his work vehicle. And I'm like, damn, I'm not alone. You go down to the beach, you see tons of cars with, towels up, blankets up, all kind of stuff, and then you start to realize how many people are actually in this situation. So I was very leery about sharing this online. Some people that I know may follow me, may see it, and it's quite embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, I've been watching a few people kind of tell their story and their situation, and it's definitely encouraging me to do the same. As far as my plan, I do have a job. It's not full-time, but I do have a job working for a company in retail, and so yeah, it's going cool. I don't know the hours. It's definitely not going to be enough to get a place in LA. So I've done research. I've talked back and forth with ChatGPT and Claude, and people in person. And I'm thinking my next move in 45 days to 60 days is to move to Mexico.
All right, now. Y'all heard what just went down in Mexico. I understand why he would want to go out there. I lived in Mexico before. It's a lot of us going out there and they're starting to be a little more racist than they were before, simply because we're boosting the prices out there. Maybe they're prejudiced, maybe not racist. I don't know. I feel the tension. I could say that. But they don't like that we're going out there and raising the prices on them, right? So it's a thing of gentrification going on. We come out there, prices go up for rent. Food prices go up. The food price is really not no different than America. Like, I was out there a couple years ago. Cherries was like $10. $10 for a bag of cherries. I'm like, it's really not a difference. I think we really might have been paying the same or more. Of course, housing and the bills are lower. Ubers are cheaper. It has its advantages. But with all this cartel violence going on right now, I don't know about Mexico. Mexico, I would count that out. That was my plan too before, but not no more. Also, though, California, of course, no wonder you're struggling. It's California. I don't know why nobody is in California. Me and my cousin was just talking about this over the weekend. He knows somebody out there paying $3,500. It's actually his brother for a small apartment. It's tiny for $3,500. It's crazy.
I was thinking about PV, Puerto Vallarta, but after further research, maybe possibly Rosarito. I still do some freelance work in LA, so I want to be able to get back relatively quick, and I want to land in a spot that's easy for me to start living abroad, not somewhere that's going to be harder, going to be further. So yeah, not necessarily Tijuana, but it's easy because I can just cross the border. For those who don't know, you can take your car over to Rosarito and own it and have it and all that stuff. Same with Tijuana. I'm specifically not doing that, but I'm selling the car for money, and then I have plans to do other stuff online, stuff like that. But anyway, I want to speak on my situation. I'm 40 plus, living in my car, and we're going to figure this thing out. I gave myself the whole summer to figure it out. I was working at Amazon and I got sick, some stress. I had cellulitis and shingles kind of come back, and plus it was just physically demanding, so I had to chill off that. But yeah, that's where I'm at. There's a lot of people here, and I support you. If anyone's going through this, I fully support you, whether you are public, putting it out there or not. I know that it's tough to make this decision, and it's even tough to keep your mind in a great mental space. For me, even though we're low on space, I still keep my basketball and my pump in the back, because if I need to, I need to get on that court and, ease some stress. So yeah, all that to say, this is where I'm at. If you guys have any questions, I know there's going to be something that I'm going to be able to answer. I definitely want to help people out. Any negative comments, we probably just gonna block them. But yeah, if anybody wants any feedback or any questions, please feel free to ask. Like I said, it's been like 2.5 months. Plan on doing this for about 45 more days, possibly. But the legislation that the Orange Man put through, basically saying that they can detain anyone that's homeless, including people in their car, definitely kind of changed things for me. I don't want to get back in a rat race either. As soon as I get an apartment or a place, I'm back in a rat race because I got to keep working to pay that thing, and now I need another bill. I got all that stuff. Since I'm out of it, I'm very worried about getting back into it. So if I do get back into it, maybe I'll do it somewhere that's more affordable. So that's what I'm thinking about. Anyway, that's the yap. That's the spiel on this Sunday afternoon. It's August 2nd, 3rd. So yeah, this is where we at. Appreciate y'all. For anyone who know me, what up? I'm not asking for help. I'm fine. I ain't making no money from this. You ain't got to do the whole engagement thing and all that. I'm just, sharing my story. 7 minutes is way too long. I apologize.
All right, so you see, he don't want to get back into the rat race. He doesn't want an apartment. He doesn't want a job, because it's going to get you back stuck in that cycle. You'll be like a hamster in a wheel. It keeps running, but you ain't getting nowhere. And I feel that. I respect that. See, some people rather be homeless so that they can stack up, save up, leave the country, instead of being stuck in a cycle where there's no end. I respect it, honestly, because I feel that. Once you start to wake up, you realize the workforce is slavery. Right? You want to escape the matrix. People feel like being homeless is a way to escape the matrix. It's crazy, right? But there's some truth to it. Off a normal 9 to 5, you will never get ahead. It's like you're stuck, you're trapped. Unless you take that money, you invest that money, and you generate another stream of income for you. But if you're solely working and paying bills, you will never see a way out. You have to work until you die. Retirement, that's out the window. But I don't want to talk too much. I done covered a lot of videos on my channel about this. If you've been tuned in, then y'all know my take on all of this. I'm not going to repeat the same things over and over, but y'all get me, man. You want to escape the rat race. You want to prosper in this life. You want to be happy in this life, most importantly. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Once again, it's your brother YT. Wake 'em up. Peace to my Hebrew fam. Shalom. I'll catch y'all on the next one.